Hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. This is Mr. Blessing. I want to use this little opportunity to talk about the questions that we addressed today on the platform that is on our page. That question centered on object subject principles and as well as the principles of the passive active voice. These are two principles that guided the question, and this question often come in WAEC and in JAM. So many people used to fail whenever it comes. Like what really happens on the page. If you had been there on the page, you notice that majority of people are saying B, B, options. People are saying option B, because they assume that it is the B option is the correct answer. But that B option, which is the I, is not the correct answer. The correct answer there is the A option, because the answer is supposed to be on the passive, not on the active. And that is on the object of the sentence, me. The question asks, my uncle has invited Naza and Dash to the party. My uncle has invited Naza and Dash to the party. So it's supposed to be my uncle had invited Naza and me to the party. Talking about the subject of the sentence, it is my uncle. And talking about the active person, it is also my uncle who had taken that action of inviting people to the party. So my uncle had invited Nazar and me to the party. Not my uncle had invited Nazar and I to the party. But in the other way around, what if the sentence were restructured? Say, my uncle had invited us to the party. It's still in the same format. You can even restructure it and say, my uncle had invited us to the party. That's okay. But what if the object now become the subject of the sentence? Take for instance, when you say, I and Naza had been invited to the party by my uncle. So in that case, you now see that the object becomes the subject of the sentence, taking active part in the sentence. But since it is not like that, the object remain at the passive part. The object also remain in the passive side of the sentence, so the correct answer should be me. My uncle had invited Naza. Who took the action? My uncle. He is the subject, he is the active person. He took the action, he invited Naza and me to the party. Not my uncle had invited Naza and I to the party. That is wrong answer. So please, in case of such kind of question, you need to recognize these two principles. One, the principles of active-passive voice, which demands that once the voice is active or taking action, it should be in the active form. Take for instance, when you say, I am going there, or I have been invited to the party. I have been invited to the party. This demands that I, which is the object of the sentence, has become the active voice because I'm now representing the subject of the sentence. The passive voice is, he has invited me to the party. He has invited me to the party. I have been invited to the party. Now notice that I is used there, not that it's supposed to be I or it's supposed to be the active, but because it is the subject of the sentence. The subject of the sentence is what's supposed to be that position. I. Because that I is the subject of the sentence, that is why it takes that active voice. But if it's not the subject of the sentence, it can never take that active voice. So please, we are still going to treat this principle more and more. But want you guys to take notice of it. Why me is the correct answer. In other words, take for instance when that sentence is restructured and say, he has invited us to the party. Can you say he has invited we to the party? No, it's wrong. But you can say, we have been invited to the party. In that case, we now start at the subject of the sentence. And as we has become the subject of the sentence, it's now taking the active voice. We have been invited to the party. But if it is on the object of the sentence at the receiving end, us will go. You cannot say Naza and I can stand for us. No, it can't. It or can stand for we. No. Take for instance when you say Naza and me are going to, that is wrong expression. It can't go. Because in that case, that is the subject and also the active voice. The subjects and they are also the one taking the action. But what if in other case we are the one that are inviting other people to the party? In that case, we are now the active voice. If we are the one that are inviting, we are taking action, it becomes the active voice. But if others say my uncle, as in the question treated, we are the objects and we are the passive voice. So you can say, my uncle had invited Naza and me to the party. I believe that it's clear. Although we turn a thing on the board for now, but we want you to get the sense of the question on the page. If you are not on the page, you can go back to the page and check that question, which says, my uncle invited Naza and Dash the party. Now the next question is, which was the second question for today? The newly elected chairman had been dashed into the office. The newly elected chairman has been dashed into the office. So the object or the options were A. Inaugurated. B.